Hey, thank you so much for being here. Good morning, good afternoon. So a little note today on is Pinterest right for your business? So if you have not already watched the first video on what is Pinterest, go ahead and do that. Or if you're already familiar with Pinterest, welcome. So today we're going to look at why you might want to use Pinterest for your business and how to decide if this is the right social media site for your business. So the first thing to keep in mind is that Pinterest is a social media site and you want to think about who your audience is. So let's go ahead and draw here, right? Pinterest. Wow, it's kind of hard to write with the mouse. Pinterest. Okay, so who is your audience for your business? Do you have your target market? Have you already figured out who you're going to sell to, who wants to buy from you? The first thing about being in business is you have a product or service, and you are solving a problem with this product or service. So the question, as you continue to grow, especially as you're developing your social media sites, is who is this product or service solving a problem for? Which problem is being solved and for whom? So go ahead and select another color here. So who is your audience? There are several target market workshops to go through, so please reach out to the Facebook group or via email if you have any questions here. But basically you want to go through and figure out where do they live, what do they do, what age group are they in, where do they work, and what are the struggles that they're having that are going to lead them to buy your product or service. So go ahead and pause this video if you have not done that already, or take a few moments to create a person who would be your ideal customer. Write their name down, write a few things about them. Do they get up early and drink a whole bunch of coffee? Or do they get up a little bit later and maybe have some tea and meditate? Just really go through and create a person in mind, at least one, maybe two, that you can think about when you're going through these next steps. Okay, so the next steps for deciding if Pinterest is right for your business is to understand a little bit more of who is on Pinterest. And this is why it's important to know who your target audience is. So, who is on Pinterest? Well, at the current time, it is early in 2018 right now. Men make up about 7% of the audience on Pinterest right now. So 7% of the people who are currently on Pinterest identify as men, which means that Pinterest is the audience is primarily people who identify as women. So the other thing to keep to know though is that currently with people who are signing up, so this is the current audience, but as people are joining and new people are signing up, with these new signups, 40% of them are men. What does this mean? Well, if the current population of Pinterest is about 7% men, but 40% of new signups are men, that means that there's going to be a lot more men on Pinterest. There already are a lot more men on Pinterest, probably from the time that this stat was created to this video was created, and even more so now to while you're watching this. So men are increasingly growing a presence on Pinterest, which is one thing to keep in mind, and compare that to who your target audience is. The next little bit of demographic information of who is on Pinterest is that the median age, so the average age of everyone who is on Pinterest, is 40. This is a little bit higher of a number, a little bit more years than Instagram or a few other social media sites, but that's pretty average. There's a few different statistics on what that means, because if you know a lot about numbers, it could be easily skewed, but with the amount of people that are on Pinterest, that's about the median age. However, the age group, the demographic that is the most active tends to be under 40. So under 40 tends to be a lot more active as it goes with pinning and repinning. So other folks are getting on there quite a bit, but perhaps they're just viewing the content or not necessarily pinning everything as much. So those are just a few other statistics to look at. Go ahead and clear this page off so that I can add some more information here. So Racer is a little bit longer. Right. The next thing to think about with Pinterest to decide if it's something that you want for your business is where your audience is currently located. This can be regionally, from state to state, within your city. If you're a brick and mortar, do you just reach people that are near you? Can you ship? Are you licensed to work in other locations? What are those places? If you ship to anywhere, who is the people that are currently buy from you the most? Or is there one part of the country or one country that's more likely to buy your product than another? So with Pinterest currently, go back here to the draw tool. Ooh, that is much, much larger. Okay, thanks for bearing with me here. So with Pinterest, 75 million active users are located within the United States. So that means there's approximately 200 million active users on Pinterest every single month, or active pinners, I guess they call them. These statistics are coming straight from Pinterest. They were posted January 1st, 2018. So there's 75 million active pinners per month right now that are located in the United States out of the approximately 200 million that there are, which means there are 100+ million outside of the US. USA. This is maybe not the easiest thing to use, but you get the general idea. If you have primarily an audience in the United States, this is good because a lot of social medias don't necessarily, sites have this same draw. A lot of Facebook demographic, for example, are not necessarily in the United States. With Instagram, it's even more people are outside of the United States. So if you primarily have customers or clients within the United States, Pinterest is definitely a good thing to consider. This pinners plural here. Another statistic that's really important is how many of what people are doing when they get on Pinterest. So I will move on from the audience. So go ahead and take a moment here to pause and think about who your target audience is and look through those numbers. What age group are they? What gender are they identifying with? Where are they located? Is that something that your target audience with your business is going to identify, to reach if they're on Pinterest? Is your target audience already on Pinterest? The next thing to look at is what Pinterest is used for. Go ahead and go to green here. Go back to the draw tool. And Pinterest is a good money maker for several different reasons. We'll stick with green for this, focusing at money. So first and foremost, 87% of pinners, 87% of people who are on Pinterest and pinning that are active purchase a product because of Pinterest. So this means that people are on there. These folks are on Pinterest. And they see something they like and make a purchase based on that pin, an image that they like, a product that they like, and they go and purchase it from a website that was linked to, or they go and make that purchase in person. So the other statistic that's even more impressive is that 93% of pinners use Pinterest of pinners use Pinterest to help with a purchasing decision. This means that 93% of people who are active on Pinterest are spending time there to try and figure out what they want to buy. Perhaps they're looking for gifts. Perhaps they're looking for craft ideas or looking for recipes, but 93% of people, I'll go ahead and write ideas out because I'm running out of space here, are on Pinterest to look for help with making these purchasing decisions, to getting these purchasing ideas. So the people who are on Pinterest are primed up already, planning to be sold to. They want to be marketed to. They want to see these products. They want to see what you have to offer them. They are ready to make the purchase. They are ready for that sale. That is what they are doing on Pinterest. Not primarily, not all the time. A lot of people go on there just for fun, to look for ideas, images, to search, brainstorm, be creative, but they are more okay with being sold to while they're on Pinterest, because what this means is that people are using Pinterest as a tool to get products. So for example, for a real life example, you probably would go to a mall with the intent to purchase something. You might go to a mall to just hang out or browse, but you're probably expecting that there's products there for you to buy that you can go purchase. That's how people view Pinterest. At least 93%, which is a phenomenal statistic. Another interesting thing about Pinterest, looking at this, the financial side of things, as well as your audience, is that on average, the average Pinterest user has a 9% higher income level than a Facebook user. So Pinterest and Facebook are two of the biggest ones right now, the biggest social media sites that people are using, especially for business. But on Pinterest, there's a 9% higher income levels that people make, as well as the average purchase from Facebook is $50, whereas Pinterest, it's $58 in the average shopping cart, which means that on average people spend more money. Oh man, that is quite the arrow. On average, people are spending more money when they're on Pinterest, and they make more money. So if you have a more affluent target market or larger priced items that you're trying to sell, this is another place where Pinterest would be a good location to have for your business. The other elements of why Pinterest is good, go ahead and switch to another color here, for business is referral traffic. There's a good amount of referral traffic that comes from Pinterest to your website. People are using Pinterest as a search engine to look for things. And so they're likely to click off of it and go to your website, whereas links that go outside of Facebook are often penalized. Pinterest is a great one for referral traffic. And I've currently seen this and talked to a few other social media marketers in a group last month. that Pinterest has been increasingly growing as a referral traffic source. So previously, Twitter was a big one, and Facebook is a huge one for driving traffic to your website or perhaps an Etsy shop or something. And now Pinterest is increasing in that number in certain industries. If you have an Etsy shop, Pinterest is probably a place you want to be, for example. All right, go through this list here one more time, make sure this has all been covered. Now, if you already have a personal account and you're trying to decide if you want to convert that to a business account, that is something that can happen. A personal account can become business. Go ahead and write that out. If you already have an audience and you've already been marketing your product, then you can convert that to business. However, you might want to keep them separate. Just like Facebook, you want a personal profile and a business page. On Pinterest, you might want something personal for your personal, and then a business one that's just focused on more of your business stuff. If you have other people that work for you, if you have sort of a larger organization, that's something you want to do. If your personal identity is really entrenched in your business identity, though, combining these is an okay thing to do. But a lot of that is personal preference as well. We will delve into that a little more later on in the course. Okay, and going through higher income, larger shopping carts, personal accounts can be. The other thing that you'll want to know is why you would want a business account over a personal account for your business is that with a business account, you're able to get analytics, which are really, really helpful to see and learn about your audience, what they're doing, what kind of traffic you're getting, as well as you can do ads, which Pinterest ads they do really, really well. A big bonus of Pinterest content is that it lasts. Just like a blog or on a website, except for it's a social media site that is based by searching. So when you go to Google, when you search something, oftentimes you find content from several years ago. The same thing happens with Pinterest. You can post one product, and then 5 years from now, somebody could be searching and still be finding your product. So the pins kind of last forever, which if you sell, if you're selling something that is dated, that's something else to keep in mind. You're probably not going to be selling too many Happy New Year 2012 piñatas in 2020. Or maybe it's a little retro go back. But anyways, that's just another piece to keep in mind. Last but not least, on trying to decide if you want Pinterest for business is going to come down to your industry. What is it that you're selling? What product or service are you offering for people? Pinterest tends to work a little better if you have a product because you have a physical product that you can post a picture of. Unless your service lends itself to photos like before and after photos, or if your service is photography, if your service creates a product, that is something else that lends itself well to Pinterest. But Pinterest is primarily made of photos, so you're going to need to have something with photos. Now, if you create graphics or you have a lot of images that you create for service, like Pancake Digital Solutions does, you can create Pinterest you can create pins with those graphics. Another thing to keep in mind in making this decision is with what you're selling in your industry, where does your audience go to buy those things? Are they online to buy those things? Are they going to locations? Do they want to meet people? Is it something that you can purchase online, or is it something that you have to go through and have several meetings? So real estate, for example, with purchasing a house, people probably don't just on average add a house to their shopping cart and buy it online. You want to go visit the house and talk to a realtor and visit them several times. versus if you sell wallets, somebody could easily add that to a Pinterest, could buy that from Pinterest and add it to a shopping cart, purchase it, have it sent to your home. So is it something you would sell on Amazon, as a good example? Then you probably would want to be on Pinterest. Also, just go look, go explore. There's a lot of crafts. There's a lot of foods. As you saw in the last video, the stuff you can do with recipes. Searching on Pinterest is phenomenal. If your target market is somebody who is looking for those crafts, those t-shirts, the small shop stuff, the recipes, home ideas, garden ideas, home and decor, those sorts of things. If you would see them at a home and garden trade show, then Pinterest might be a place for your business. So those are a few things to keep in mind. Do some research. Watch this again if you want to go through the statistics. And of course, join the group on Facebook or send us an email if you have any further questions. Thanks.